Well, good afternoon from Epcot's International Food and Wine Festival. We are over here today to check out some more foods that I did not try during opening weekend, as well as try some of the foods that we did try during opening weekend. You may be asking, why are we trying them again? It is because throughout the festival, the foods have a tendency to change. Sometimes they get bigger in size, sometimes they get smaller in size, and sometimes they work the recipes out and they taste a little bit better. So we're gonna try some of the foods that we've already tried and see if it holds up to the same rating I gave it at the beginning of the festival. I also got a Guardians queue, so we're gonna ride that. We're gonna check in on the Epcot construction that we did get an update on today at D23, as well as check out where the new Figment meet and greet is going to be opening tomorrow. It's crazy, we're just like getting it all of a sudden. They announced it at D23 today and they're like, hey, it's opening tomorrow. It's crazy. We're gonna check in on all of that, try some new foods, and just have a great Epcot day. So let's jump into it. Our first stop of the day is going to be here in the Starbucks location here in Epcot. We are going to be trying the croissant donut. This was around last year and Disney just brought it back in August, so we're gonna try that today. In here in Starbucks, you're going to find a bunch of the Starbucks treats, but also some exclusive ones here for Disney World, including this layered cake that you guys know I love. And it looks like it is going to be offered on the dining plan come next year when the dining plan comes back. Now this will be a good value on the dining plan because this is worth $6. Now it's not the largest thing, it's not as large as like a Mickey cinnamon roll, but for the value, this is going to be a good use of a snacks credit on the Disney dining plan. Here's a look at that croissant donut that we're gonna be trying today. All right, so we have our croissant donut. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out of here. Oh, it is very messy already, I can tell. Like, it's covered in sugar. Not like a powdered sugar, actually it's a regular granular sugar. But this looks delicious. Now for size reference, there's my hand. It's about the size of my palm. It's not the biggest treat, I would say. Now we paid, let's see if I can find it on here, $5.79. So I'd say for the size, that's a little high in my eyes, but let's see what it tastes like. Okay, that is really good. That is very, very, very good. It's a little messy, like the sugar starts to fall off of it as you bite into it, but wow, this is really good. I see why so many people demanded this be put back on the menu, because this is absolutely delicious. All right, so I finished that off, and I finished it off actually pretty quickly because it is not the biggest treat you can get here at the Starbucks location. Now, that was $5.79, and I also got a cold brew grande pumpkin for actually cheaper than that. That was $5.29. So, in theory, that snack is probably gonna cost more than a grande coffee here at Starbucks. Just kind of something to keep in mind. Now, I do think it was very good, and it was also marked as a dining credit or the snack credit for the dining plan. So if you want to use it as a snack credit, that's probably not a bad use of one. It's just going to be smaller, but for the price, it's not bad. When you use snack credits on the dining plan, you're always going to want to try to use it on things that are like $5 or $6 or more. There's even some things that are $8 and $9 that are valued at snack credits on the dining plan. You're always going to want to go with your higher value to get the best bang for your buck. Don't use water, don't use anything like that. So for that, because it was such a high value snack, that's probably not a bad use. Actual flavor and everything, it was absolutely delicious. It was just a little messy because of the granular sugar. So get some napkins because like my fingers are now sticky. Just something to keep in mind. Overall, loved it. If it wasn't for the price to the size ratio, I would give this a 5 out of 5. But due to the size ratio and the pricing, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I'm gonna knock it down a whole star only because the sizing for the price, it needed to be a little bit bigger in my eyes. So our first stop is going to be here in Germany, and we are going to be trying the macaroni and cheese with onions and ham in it. Now, we did try this on the very first day of the festival, and I'm curious to see how the sizing and how the taste is about a month later. Okay, so here's our mac and cheese. Now, we did try this on opening day of the festival back in July. And I do have to say, I believe the size may have been slightly bigger during then. And it's something important to remember throughout the festival that the flavor might change a little bit, the sizings might change a little bit, because during those first couple weeks, they're working stuff out. And throughout the entire festival, they're working things out. So It can be a little different from day to day and just later on in the festival, but we're gonna go ahead and try it and see what it tastes like. All right, so we don't have a table, so I'm kind of like doing this without any hands, but here is our first bite. It's just as cheesy as it was. I had to use a knife and pull it apart, so that aspect has still stayed the same. Now it does smell a little bit more oniony this time, so let's see what it tastes like. I definitely think they've added more onions. I did notice when I tried it on opening day that I really didn't taste any onions whatsoever, but I did taste quite a bit of the ham. This go around, I think they've really fixed the onion part and have added onions, but it's not an overwhelming amount of onions, and it's still very good. Still a 5 out of 5 for me, just as good as the first day of the festival. So I was able to completely finish that off, which was hard to do without a table and a camera, and it was a whole thing, but we did it. And I have to say, I actually think the flavor has improved. They've really made the mixture of ham versus onion versus cheese, like they actually have it correct. I felt like last time, the cheese really overpowered the ham and the onion and you really couldn't taste it. I feel like now, later on into the festival, they have really helped fix that, and this is a 5 out of 5 for me. Now remember, this is part of the cheese walk, the meals fromage montage. I always call it the cheese walk, and it is part of that. So we have another stamp. I'm actually working off of a book that I've had from the past couple times of coming to Epcot. So hopefully we need, I think, 3 more stamps, and we will be able to get the reward treat at the end. And I'll be excited to show that to you guys because honestly, I love the reward treat this year. It looks like the cast members are out here making a little Disney magic as well. Now we're going further into the World Showcase to try some more festival food. We're actually gonna go get the Brazilian cheese bread next because you guys know I love it, and it is part of the cheese walk. So this is gonna be our next stop for the festival, and we are going to be getting my tried and true, the Brazilian cheese bread. This is also part of the cheese walk. I absolutely love this. This was my favorite thing I tried during the opening week of the festival, so it's been about 2 months. Let's give it another try and see how it tastes. Now, before we try our cheese bread, we've jumped in line for France, and we are going to get the baguette fromage. I did try this on the first weekend and it was very good, but something we're going to also try is this festival slush. I try to try them every festival. I didn't try the one during Flower and Garden, but we are gonna try this one for Food and Wine. All right, so we have our haul from France, and the very first thing we're going to try is the slush. Just walking from the edge of the booth over to this table, it is already starting to melt, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump into it. Okay, this is really good. This is really good. Okay, so this slush is very good. Every festival, they do have a slush just like this for $15. It is an alcoholic beverage. And each festival, it has a different flavor. Like for example, the one during Festival of the Arts, I always say is the sweet tart version because it has this like foam on the top that makes it taste just like sweet tarts. Now this one does not have a sweet tart flavor. It has more of like a strawberry, like cherry kind of flavor to it. I'd have to look and see what the ingredients are to kind of figure out what I'm tasting here, but this is very good. It has Grey Goose vodka in it, but you cannot taste it. It's not very bitter, it's very sweet. This is very good, it's melting fast. Next up, we do have the Brazilian cheese bread. This was my favorite thing I tried during the opening weekend of the festival, so let's see if it still holds up to that rating. Now, when you pull it apart here, you can see it is just absolutely full of cheese. Now, it's cooled down a little bit because I held it while I waited in line for France. That's okay, because honestly, when they give these to you, it is so hot, it is going to burn your mouth. So let them cool down a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a bite. This is definitely still just as good and just as cheesy. I mean, look at those cheese pulls. Absolutely delicious. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, still my favorite thing I have tried at the festival. So the last thing I have here on my table is this from the France Pavilion. This is the baguette fromage. We did try this again at the beginning of the festival. Loved it. So let's see if it's just as good. Now I will say the size has stayed consistent through the festival. If anything, it's actually a little bit bigger than the one I got at the beginning of the festival. So it's just something to keep in mind that throughout the festival, the sizes change a little bit. From day to day, the sizes change a little bit, but this one is definitely a pretty large one today. So here's our first bite. We have the bread, we have the inside cheese and the outside cheese because there's multiple different types of cheeses in this. So let's go ahead and try it. This is definitely still just as good as the beginning of the festival. Now I will say that it is not as warm. The cheese on the inside kind of tastes a little bit different. I feel like the cheese on the inside at the beginning of the festival was a little bit like warmer in like a pepper sense, like it had more seasoning in it, where the cheese now is a little bit more bland. Not in a bad way, it's still very good, but just not as good as it was opening festival. After I finished that, I can definitely say something has changed between opening weekend and now. The inside cheese, so there's two different types of cheeses on it. There's the cheese that goes across the top, and then there is a more like goopy white melted cheese on the inside of the baguette. That inside cheese has changed slightly. I noticed that there's always like little black speckles in it, so I'm assuming that's some sort of pepper or seasoning. And I'd say that the seasoning is just a little bit different now later on into the festival, which is why I think it tastes a little bit different. Now, I still think it's very good. For the price, it is a little high. It's about $6 and some change. I'll put it up here on the screen what the actual price is. But due to that, I'm gonna downgrade my rating to about a 3 out of 5 because I just don't think it's as good as opening weekend. Now, like I've been doing in other videos, I wanna give you guys a check-in on just how much I walk here in a Disney park so that you can start kind of benchmarking what you might walk on your vacation. Now, I got here just slightly before 12 o'clock and it is 2:44 right now. So far today, I have walked 3 miles and that's about 6,703 steps. So if you're trying to plan, and start exercising ahead of time to get yourself ready or to break in tennis shoes, that's about what I've done so far in about 3 hours. All right, so I'm definitely full now. We've had our fair share of food, but I want to do some wait time check-ins on the ride. Labor Day weekend was last weekend, which means the crowds, in theory, do start to drop. They do not get to what they used to years ago, but they do start to drop a little bit, and it gets a little bit better during September. So today is September 9th. Let's do a little check-in and see what the wait times are in Epcot. Now, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is at an 85-minute wait. We're gonna go ahead and skip that and heads toward the lands. Now, this weekend is the Destination D23 event over at the Contemporary Resort. I wasn't able to get tickets for it because it's a very small event, but I do want to walk you guys through some of the announcements that were made this morning and where those announcements will be happening here in Epcot. Now, starting December 5th, the World Showcase is going to be receiving a new fireworks show, and Epcot Forever will be leaving. That new fireworks show is going to be called Luminous, the Symphony of Us. That's going to replace Harmonious and replace Epcot Forever. So December 5th, we'll be back to see a new fireworks show here in Epcot. So if you've been to Epcot in the past few years, you are probably very used to these walls. It was announced this morning that these walls will be coming down this December, and the center part of Epcot, past Spaceship Earth, will be completed, and we are going to see that at the end of the year. With that announcement this morning, it would lead one to believe that the new Epcot meet and greet spot for characters will be open. This building here previously used to be a spot where you could meet Mickey, Minnie, and all of their friends. It's been closed down for quite some time now. Due to the fact that they've made that announcement, it did not specifically say that this building will reopen, but fingers crossed by December, that character meet and greet area will be back. There's lots of cranes and lots of construction sounds today, and they have installed some trees. That tree right there is new, that tree back there is new, and it kind of looks like this, where you can see all of these lights are pointing to the center. I'm assuming that this might be where the new Walt statue is going to be placed, because a lot of that lighting kind of looks like it might be like pinpointing a center area, but they've definitely made some progress, and there's lots of construction sounds. I actually hear some spray painting going on, so I'm gonna assume they are rocking and rolling with this, moving as fast as they can to get this done. It looks like Pooh is also over here near Figment meeting and greeting. It was also announced this morning that the Figment meet and greet will be opening tomorrow. So we're gonna head in to the gift shop side of things. This is where you would end up after you ride the ride, and show you where that meet and greet is going to be. Now, if you don't want to ride the ride, but you still want to meet Figment, come over here by Disney Pixar Short Film Festival. And you're actually just going to walk down this little back pathway here. This is going to be your normal exit outside of Imagination with Figment. And this is just going to take you back into the gift shop. Once you see this sign, you know you're in the right place. Now, normally when you ride Figment, that doorway back there is where you would come out, and you're gonna come out into all these fun little interactive elements with Figment. But if you keep turning around, right here where these black curtains are, is where the new Figment meet and greet will be opening tomorrow, September 10th. Now, I do expect very long lines. I expect multi-hour lines, very similar to what we saw the first year for the Figment popcorn bucket, but be prepared. It's going to be bad for the first couple weeks. It's going to be long lines. And your best bet if you do want to meet Figment is to not ride the ride first. Come in through that back exit and make your way towards the back. You're going to see it. I'm sure there's going to be a line wrapped all the way outside tomorrow. And the gift shop is ready as well with a lot of Figment merchandise, so we'll walk through that as well. But this is where tomorrow, starting September 10th, you are going to be able to meet Figment. This actually used to be the Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope meet and greet. They've gotten rid of that and are now going to have Figment. Don't worry if you're still a Joy fan. Joy's meet and greet is still here in Imagination Land. It's just the Wreck-It Ralph meet and greet that was removed. Now we don't know what the meet and greet is going to look like just yet, but right there through those curtains, I do see a light. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up. It's like flashing rainbow. So I'm expecting we're going to see a very fun, very rainbow, very Figment themed meet and greet. Like I said earlier, it looks like the gift shop is very ready for tomorrow when the Figment meet and greet opens. Now there's some new merchandise here, including this mug and saucer that has Figment on it and says Imagination around the saucer. It is $25. We've also got another plastic coffee tumbler. Now this is not Corksicle, it's not Tumbler brand. It's just a basic plastic one, very cute. I like how sparkly it is. It says let your imagination lead the way, and it is $25. Also released this Figment hat. This reminds me so much of what the parks in Tokyo and in Japan get, and they have a lot of them. Now, I don't know how comfortable this would be in the heat of Florida, but they do have them, and they are very cute. I pulled one off the shelf here, and it looks like they are $35, and they kind of have like a Velcro strap that straps around the back of your head. There is all kinds of new Figment merch. This t-shirt is new, and it is $40. They have another t-shirt down here that's new. This is a long sleeve shirt, more of a men's shirt that says Figment since 1983. Let's see if we can find a price tag on it. Let's see here. It is $35, and it says Imagination down the sleeve. Now I do want to point out something kind of random here, but they do have the pleather Mickey basic ears. These are what these look like. They sold out for a very long time because they're very popular for how modern they look. Now they are $35, but I actually have an idea for these, and I'm going to be showing them to you here in a couple videos. So make sure you subscribe so you see when that video goes up. Our first stop is going to be at Living with the Land, and it is only a 10-minute wait. Now this wait looks to be a little bit more than a 10, so I've started the timer. We'll see what the wait actually is. We are in our lane to get our boat, and we're about 8 minutes.
Where scientists from Epcot and the U.S. Department of Agriculture are exploring innovative ways to produce powerful harvests now and into the future. Tribes are home to the greatest diversity of plants on the planet. Many foods like cacao, coffee, and rice are well known. These are just a few of the edible plants that have been an important source of nutrition for people living in the tropics. Many are rich in vitamins and minerals, while others are well adapted to growing in less than ideal conditions. Some, like the water lily, thrive in wet, swampy areas and waterways. All parts of this plant, even the flower bulb, are edible. Starch used in the plant is an ingredient to make flour. One day, many of these lesser-known tropical plants may be as important as the bananas growing on both sides of the boat. More than 28 million tons of bananas are eaten annually, making it the most popular fruit in the world. account for nearly 2/3 of our global food consumption. Learning things like these cereals while more efficiently using resources like water, fertilizer, and pesticides. Another innovation at work is our integrated pest management program. By populating our greenhouses with beneficial insects that prey on harmful pests like aphids and flies, we are significantly reducing our reliance on conventional pesticides. We're growing these crops using our nutrient film system. This technique precisely controls and recycles water and nutrients. With it, we can produce over 27,000 heads of lettuce a year in this one small area. Some of our best ideas have been inspired by nature, like these fruit and vegetable trees. By growing these ground plants vertically, we can increase yields and better control disease. These crops taste as good as they look. In fact, we serve more than 15 tons of produce from our greenhouses in restaurants around the land every year. The future of agriculture may include innovative ideas like this vertical growing system. Plants grown in this way use a fraction of the space required by traditional growing methods. That saves water and increases production. The aquaponics system on your left combines hydroponics with aquaculture. The fish provide a natural source of fertilizer for the plants, and the plants help keep the water clean for the fish. It's another great way to produce more while using less. In our lab, Epcot scientists are working with the U.S. Department of Agriculture on a number of innovative projects. The goal of these efforts is to produce higher yielding and better quality plants.
I've come over here by Soren to again do a time check-in, and Soren is posted at a 40-minute wait. When we walked into Living with the Land, it was posted at 20. I can definitely tell you that this weekend at Epcot is busy. Now we're headed out of the land and over to the seas. Let's go see what Finding Nemo's wait time is. It doesn't feel as busy in this area of the park like the World Showcase does, but the wait times are definitely high today, actually kind of surprisingly high. Like Nemo is 5 minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and get in line.
Look, see? Look, there's gonna be a lot of crowd. See it? See it?
Don't worry, just keep your eyes open for him all the way. Let's go explore, explore, explore. Let's go explore the big blue world.
Wait, Mr. Ray, we can't explore without Nemo.
I'm sure we'll see him any minute now.
Nemo!
Oh, science is great, there's so much to know. Climb aboard, explorers, it's time to go.
I am looking for my son!
I can help! Oh, no!
It's Nemo!
Where?
No, that's what I'm trying to find.
I do.
Nemo! Where are you?
Who's Nemo?
He's my son. Stop away! We're going.
I love games. I'm thinking of something really bouncy and
Jellyfish!
right. Oh, now I'm thinking of something pink.
That's jellyfish!
You're good. And I'm thinking.
Jellyfish! And the next one, jellyfish!
All right, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Stop playing games!
Games? I love games. And I'm thinking of something.
Watch out! Ah!
Look, I'm scared now.
You're not helping!
Neener, neener, neener. Oh, yeah. Too fast.
Stop fooling around!
bite. Oh, what a beautiful little bite.
Welcome to the EAC, dude.
This is awesome! Grand
Everybody's looking for you.
Oh, there you are, Nemo!
Yay! Nemo!
Come aboard, explorers!
It's Nemo! Look, Mr. Ray, here comes Nemo!
Totally, dude.
After we came off of Nemo, we headed over here into the manatee exhibit, and it looks like they just got a snack recently and are having some fun in their exhibit. As we come out of Nemo, we have our very first look of Moana Journey of Water. It looks fabulous. Now, pass holder previews have been announced starting September 24th, but the actual attraction itself will be opening October 16th with a Moana meet and greet that was not previously announced. So that's something that's going to be added that's going to be really awesome to see. This is just the side of it, and this looks absolutely amazing. Starting to rain, so we're actually going to head into Pin Traders and see what's new in here. It looks like in here in Pin Traders, they do have some of these new designer pins. Now these are supposed to kind of look like astronauts. They have real figures of them as well as these pins. For example, here's the Alice one, and these are $50. So for that little pin, $50. They also have a Jack Skellington version, a Mickey version. Actually, I think this one's Mickey and that one's Minnie. And then they have this little bunny. I'm trying to think, I think that's from Wreck-It Ralph. And then they also have a Peter Pan. Looks like they have a few new Kingdom Hearts pins. I think this one has been around for a while, but this one looks newer, or maybe it's just a restock. Let's see what the price is on it. It is yellow. Yellow is $14.99. Also, right down here below this one's definitely new. This has all the Disney princesses on it. This is beautiful. And it is $30. It's one of the jumbo pins. And wow, I really like this. I even like how it has a little, extra area over here. And it has Rapunzel in her hair. My Ahsoka fans out there, they have a new Chopper pin out. And then also they have this Kingdom Hearts pin. This Kingdom Hearts pin did come out at the Pintastic Disney event that just happened a few weeks ago. And it looks like that's starting to hit the parks. It's like quite a few of the pins that did debut at the pin event have hit the parks here, including those Halloween ones. We also have some new Star Wars ones. Over here in Pin Traders is also where you're going to find a lot of your Magic Band Pluses. And it looks like there are a couple new ones here, including this Snow White one that's a limited release. I really like it. It has the apple on the center and the dwarves on the other side. Let's see if I can find a price on it. So it is Lilac. And Lilac, if it'll focus, is $55. In this store, you're also going to find a very nice display of the Disney 100th pins, including the decade pin. So this is the decade pin for this decade that's out currently. It's Roger Rabbit. And they also have some of the music 100th pins. I can't remember what this collection is called. It's like Music and Harmony or something like that. I always call it the Disney Music Collection. And they have the pin that came out for it as well. It's very cute. I really like this one. Now there were different variants of it. I only see the one variant here in the store, and it is $17.99. That Roger Rabbit pin, oh, I gotta show you guys this one up close. It actually is rubbery on the bricks on it. That's very cool. I love the 3D effect to it. And it is $35. Now we've walked over here by Test Track because it was announced this morning that Test Track is going to be reimagined. Now the ride itself is not gonna go away. It's just going to be reimagined, which more than likely means rethemed. They did say that they're going to draw inspiration from the original World of Motion from the opening of Epcot. I actually really like that they're doing that. I felt like Test Track has needed a little bit of a refurb for a while now. It's kind of starting to show its age. And I like that Disney is going back to the original roots of the opening of Epcot to find inspiration as they redo the different sections of Epcot. Now there are no opening or closing dates for that yet. It's just been announced that this is going to be reimagined. So as of right now, when you come for your vacation, I would expect the Test Track will be open. I'd say it's probably going to start going down next year for that reimagination. While we're over here, I also want to point out that Test Track is currently a 60. And with that, our Epcot day comes to a close. I had so much fun coming over here and trying some new as well as some old festival foods and seeing what we thought of them, as well as checking out all of the announcements for D23. Now, there were not just announcements for Epcot at D23 this morning, there were announcements for all the parks. So we'll be headed to all the parks to show you guys where those announcements are gonna take place and what's going on. There's also another session tomorrow at the Contemporary where we're hoping for even more announcements about what might be coming to the Disney parks. So stay tuned because we'll be reviewing all of those announcements. Make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you are notified every time those videos go up. And if you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button. I will see you guys next time.